Learned to find the volume of three-dimensional figures, and the last time you worked on finding the volume of rectangular prisms and cubes by seeing the unit cubes that are used to fill the entire space. And an example is here on this first page you're seeing. And today I'm going to show you how to find the volume of rectangular prisms where there won't be any cubes present and there'll be measurements. And I would like you to watch this in its entirety because I'm going to end with 3 problems that you'll need to be cognizant of when you are doing finding volume of rectangular prisms. Okay, so if we look here, we've got this first cube, which you've already learned how to do, where you mark the length, which this is the longest side, so that's 4 cubes long, and then the width is 3 cubes long, and the height is 5 cubes tall. So volume, which is capital V, is length times width times height. So our length was 4, and we multiply that by our width of 3 and multiply that by the height of 5. Okay? Ooh. Now, we can do 4 times 3, which is 12, and then multiply by 5, which is a total of 60. Now, we don't have a measurement, so our measurement, we're going to use our general measurement of units cubed because we don't know what's called, or we can call it unit or cubic units, however you would like to write that, either units cubed or cubic units. Now, the order of these 3 numbers being multiplied doesn't matter. You will still get the same answer. You could have done 3 times 4 times 5. You could have done 3 times 5 times 4. You could have done 4 times 5 times 3. You could have done 5 times 3 times 4. And 5 times 4 times 3. It doesn't matter which order you do them in, you will still get the same product because of the property, the multiplication property of the commutative property of multiplication. Sorry. Okay. Now let's move on to seeing finding the volume of these 3 rectangular prisms. So the first one here is a 2 by 4 by 3. So my volume is 2, and I'm going to use the multiplication dot, and you can, or just a multiplication sign. And just make sure the multiplication dot is up here in the middle and it's not down here at the bottom, otherwise it'll be a decimal point. So 2 times 4 is 8, and 8 times 3 is 24. And those will be cubic units because we don't know the measurement, it's not given. The next one here is, that's a 2 there. 4 times 2 times 8. So 4 times 2 is 8, and 8 times 8 is 64. 64 units cubed or cubic units, however you want to write it. However, when you have to type these on the computer for online school, you won't be able to use the subscript 3 because we haven't taught you to do that. Volume of this rectangular prism is 5 by 8 by 10. So 5 times 8 is 40, and 40 times 10 more is 400 units cubed or cubic units. That means it takes 400 of those little tiny 1 unit cubes to fill in this entire space. Okay. Now, I want you to take a look at these. Here's where some students are going to go wrong. These actually have labels on them. And you have to use those labels because they're no longer units because they actually have measurements indicated. So we see this one is inches. So all of the cubes that fill in this rectangular prism or this rectangular prism would be inch cubes. These are centimeter measurements. So all of the unit cubes that would fill up this 3-dimensional rectangular prism would be 1 centimeter cube. Unit cubes, and then the unit cubes that will be used to fill up this rectangular prism will be 1 meter cubes, unit cubes, which is really interesting because those are very large. Remember, 1 unit is about the size of the height of the whiteboards in our classroom. Okay, volume is 6 times 6, 6 by 6 by 3. We have our length, our width, and our height. And I just wrote in any order because the commutative property of multiplication allows us to do whatever order we want. We're going to still get the same product. So 6 times 6 is 36. And then if you need to, you may go off to the side and do it vertically, 36 times 3, to figure out the total product, which is 108. Now, our label is inches, so we're going to do cubic inches or inches cubed. So I'll just do cubic inches because this is probably how you'll be writing it on your work tomorrow. Today you'll have practice problems that you don't have to turn in, but it's practice with answers on them so that you can double check to see if you've done them correct, but tomorrow you'll do some on your own for a grade. Okay, so let's try this next one. And this next one is 8 by 12 by 6. And then we can multiply. 8 times 12 is 96. And I'm going to multiply that by 6. So off to the side, I might do 96 times 6. And that's 36. And 9 times 6 is 54 plus 3 more is 57. So my total volume is 576. The measurement is centimeters, so it's cubic centimeters. Be careful, make sure you're doing that. Okay, and our last one here, the volume is, this is a 5 by 4 by 10. And again, remember, it doesn't matter the order of the numbers you're multiplying because of the commutative property of multiplication. So 5 times 4 is 20, and 20 times 10 is 200. And my measurement is meters, so it's cubic meters, 200 cubic meters. And it takes 200 meter units, those little cubic meter, those little cubic units, meter units to fill up, and there'll be 200 of them in here. All right, go ahead and do your practice problems and see how well you do.